Sing us a song, the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, 'cause we're on the mood for a melody. Oh, hello, Jason Alexander here, reporting live from the club at Carlton Woods Fazio on a scintillating edition of The Pro Show. Upcoming, we have a hard-hitting interview with former NFL quarterback, ESPN personality, and now host of his own radio show downtown, none other than Sean Salisbury, and he's got some stories for us. We're also going to promote some member events coming up here at the club, and Tommy Peppercorn is back on property with a Tommy tip to make sure we can all drop the hammer off the tee box for the upcoming season. So let's dim the lights, light a candle, and snuggle up to someone close. And of course, kick the tires and light the fires. Because if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do the Pro Show.
Yo, what's happening, folks? It's the Beamer, Rich Beam, 2002 PGA champion. I am one of the millions of fans of the Pro Show.
Oh, special thank you to the 2002 PGA champion, the Beamer, Rich Beam, one of the millions and millions of Pro Show fans. All right, now it's time for what everybody wants, and it's what everyone needs. A very special edition of Tommy Tips. Let's head out to the range with Mr. Peppercorn. Members, guests, and millions of Castleman Pro fans, Tommy Peppercorn here on the Fazio Range. Now look, we want to talk about vertebral inclination. Now, lower end instructors call this spine angle, but not us. So, vertebral inclination. Now, we're talking about our vertebrae here. We hit this driver, we want to get that tilted away from your target, not towards your target. No power there, lots of power here. So, we get up on that golf ball now. Woo! Look at that vertebral inclination. Come out, and then we can just let her fly. Woo! Baby. Now, members, ladies' clinic start next week, junior clinic start next week, and February 11th, you can get your hands on this little sweet puppy, the carbon fiber. Now, I thought carbon was an antioxide. I thought it was a gas, but no, they made it fiber and put it right here into this face. And you know what else? The face is red, which equals hot. February 11th at the Nicholas, join me, Tommy Peppercorn, and get your tailor-made driver then. All right, a special thank you to Tommy Peppercorn, Old T Pep. We shall all be hitting those bombs, as Phil Mickelson would say, off the tee box. Now, members, don't forget, February 4th and 5th, our first major weekend of the year, the race to the Carlton Cup begins right here at Foztown, USA. I know we're all excited for the season. And speaking of excited, we were awfully excited to go downtown at the 790 Studios and get a hard-hitting interview with Sean Salisbury. Let's take a look. All right, Consummate Pro here with the host of the Sean Salisbury Show, 790 down here. Look, right during my era, a legend, 10-year NFL career, played at USC, acclaimed actor, which we all know.
I got snubbed in the Benchwarmers role. I should have been best supporting actor in a comedy role. What happened? I'm pissed at the Academy. It's great to be on with you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, hey, Salisbury, we're going to hop right into the hard-hitting nine, because everybody knows 10's just way too many questions. Okay, 1980, San Diego Player of the Year. 81, you show up at USC, and 18 years old, you're a front row Joe seat for a Heisman campaign. Marcus Allen, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, John Robinson was a coach, our head coach, and I walked on the field. You know, you're a high school All-American, think you're a hot shot. And I just turned 18 years old. And I walked on the practice field, and there's Marcus and Chip Banks and Joey Browner and Jack Del Rey, and I'm looking around saying, ooh, this is different. And playing on the practice field, I knew that you could play on Sundays because of the practice field. But watching Marcus Allen, he used to do this. Every time he touched the ball, he'd run it about 60 yards and walk back to the huddle, and John Robinson put him back in the huddle, and he'd run. He was so conditioned, but Marcus Allen looked people up to run down. He was the toughest, best athlete of a football player I'd ever been around. And I sat there when opening game against Tennessee, we're playing there in my freshman year. I don't even know how to put hip pads in. Marcus goes, rushes, he's rushing, and after he takes the first snap, it goes the distance. I was thinking, I'm going to play tonight. And we went on and beat the hell out of Tennessee, and he started every 200-yard campaign, first 2,000-yard rusher.
I was going to say,
as tough as 100-year-old leather. Phenomenal football player. He could have played quarterback for us if he needed to.
Unbelievable.
But I wasn't going to let him.
Well, shout out to Doc Fuentes, Dan Fuentes in East Texas. Marcus Allen, one of his good friends and favorite players.
Marcus is as good a person and player I've ever been around.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll go to the NFL. Seahawks 86. How was it getting into the NFL? I'm watching a documentary on Joe Montana right now. He was one of my favorite players growing up. West Coast offense was kind of taking over the 49ers dynasty. How was that era there in the mid-80s NFL?
Well, I think it's golden. I mean, I know that with the Brady's in mind, the quarterbacks of Elway. Now, I wasn't one of them, but Elway and Kelly, Montana, Favre, Young, Marino. The list goes on. Even the Kenny O'Briens and Tony Easons, who are, you're talking about how every single one of those guys Hall of Fame, and I'm like that Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. My very first mini camp in Seattle, to give you perspective, and David Craig is a hell of a player. David Craig's jersey's hanging down over his elbows. His pants are baggy. You know, he can't. I go out to my first mini camp, and I'm standing there with one of the guys drafted. And we're standing there as a quarterback. There are 6 of us quarterbacks in camp. And David Craig's warming up, and his pads don't, I mean, his helmet looks weird and we got the jersey on, but no shoulder pads. Yeah. And everything's saggy. And I look at and I'm watching him warm up, and I look at my buddy, and I said, I'm winning this job. And it's my first mini camp. You know, arrogant. I come in there, big 6'5".
USC.
Right, hell, I'm going to beat him out. We get to 7-on-7 and team drill the very first mini camp. And he's throwing post corners to Steve Largent. Yeah. After he throws one, I turn back over and look at it. I go, I'm not winning this job. I mean, one of those guys you look and say, how? And then the game, when the competition kicks up, and still to this day, Steve Largent's the very best route runner in the history of this game.
Got to remind you of Cooper Kupp a little bit.
And think about this now. If Largent was playing now, he'd catch 150 balls. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right.
He's one of the best.
Unbelievable.
And you just barely missed the Boz. Boz showed up.
Oh, no, I was there. Boz came in, training camp with Boz. Oh, yeah, we'd go into like FX McCrory's, which is a bar right next to the thing. We'd walk in, there was about 6 of us, and they have to rope it off his rookie year. And he was the Boz there, but Brian away from, and great friggin' dude. But you want to talk about the runoff. It's like, there's the Boz. I'm just hanging around because here. It was the greatest. Watch him operate when he wasn't doing anything. People used to watch him eat and stand there and stare at him and say, I'm like, this is the closest to a rock star I'd ever been. And remember the Heisman Trophy with Marcus and the rest of it. That was the closest to a rock star you will ever see. And we loved every second of it, trust me, and milked it as much as we possibly could.
I was about to say, right. Absolutely. All right, getting into 90, you're with the Vikings, and a trade that changed NFL history, in my opinion. I was 12 years old. Herschel Walker traded from the Cowboys for all those picked to the Vikings. You were with Minnesota. How did that all go down in Minnesota?
Well, you lose 11 players, and a lot of them were starters, and you saw what happened. Jimmy Johnson, brilliant move by him, right? As good as Herschel is, but it almost, think about paying it forward 30 years. Is it even to this day, the running back, people don't want to take the running back in the first round. So it just kind of paints to what's the value on the running back and how much does he mean? Herschel, one of the finest human beings ever, one of the great players. He had no shot to succeed with that because it doesn't matter who it is, maybe Mahomes or Josh Allen now, 11 players, you're not winning that. He had no shot. The expectations placed on him were stupid. Yet he came in, did his job, played his ass off, was a great player, would run down on scout team during practice. I mean, he was everything you'd want from a star, and when you meet him, you're like a little nervous. Phenomenal guy, but he had no chance for that to succeed. And Dallas, meaning overall, because the Cowboys get 11 players in the thing, and Jimmy goes on and wins Super Bowls, and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith didn't hurt, you know. So, but Troy, I mean, Herschel did a great stuff for us, but it was unfair to him. But the Dallas Cowboys capitalized on a few rings that Minnesota still doesn't have.
That's right. Okay, look, you're at Minnesota still. They get Jim McMahon.
The greatest story is we're in Chicago on a Sunday or Monday Night Football, and Jim was hungry. We got our jackets on, it's cold. Max says, you hungry? I said, yeah, I'm hungry. And he said, hang on a second. He turns around, looks at the usher, says, we need a couple hot dogs. During the game, not pregame warm-up. Right. The guy runs, gets hot dogs, brings them down, puts them in, we stick them in there. You know, everybody makes a big deal like Sanchez when we ate hot dogs standing on the sidelines because Jim was hungry. I said, if Matt can do it, if we get in trouble, I ain't getting in trouble because Jim McMahon's here.
You're with McMahon.
Priceless, yeah. I didn't have that kind of pull, but Jimmy did, and he was a gamer for us. Man, I love him.
He was one of our favorite players.
Everything you think about him is true. He's the best.
Absolutely. All right, we're moving on. Look, I got to get best throws. You know, great career, USC, NFL. Give me a couple of your best throws from Salisbury.
The best throw in my favorite game. Best throw was at USC. We were 46 seconds, had to go 80 yards with no timeouts. Drove down the field. We throw it into the end zone at the 30-yard line. Too many men on the field for them. We get one extra play, all zeros on the clock, so we got to play it off. Ran a bang post, which is that skinny post, and threw it as hard as I could. Our guy Timmy Ware caught it. 3 guys hit him, caught it in the end zone. that the tie records were then where you didn't have the tiebreaker. Now you could end in a tie.
Right.
He catches it in the end zone for a tie. We went 46 seconds, no timeout. I threw the best ball of my life for a touchdown. They muffed the extra point. We ended up tying. The greatest tie where you're like to the, what just happened, man? We went 46 seconds. It was unfortunate, but that was my best throw. My best game where I had those throws where you could have closed your eyes and it was just going to the right guy. I didn't have many of those. Was in Denver when I was the NFL Player of the Week, and we came from behind and beat Elway in Denver.
That's right. Yep.
And won that game. And I still tell John to this day, I said, dude, I beat you at Stanford. I beat you at Denver. I'm 2-0 against you. What do you got on me? Oh, Sean, 8 million yards and a couple Hall of Fame and a bunch of Super Bowl rings, but
not head to head.
Damn right. That's what I told him. So I'm going to run with that and buy into that one.
All right, look here. After your playing career's over, you go to ESPN 1997, which you talk about golden era. I mean, Stuart Scott, Chris Berman, Dan Patrick. We watch SportsCenter every day. How was that experience for you in Bristol?
It was the most. I had 12 years there, and I gained some of the greatest friends. And the stories you don't see on the air, like when we're doing SportsCenter, or when you're sitting there with Van Pelt or Rich Eisen, but Dan and Stuart and the group.
And John Clayton, your boy.
My guy, John's still one of my best friends. We were on each other's show every Friday.
Yeah.
I go with John. John comes on my show. It was an experience. It feels surreal, 12 years, because I sat there and the laughs we had on SportsCenter, I'll never forget it. It was the career time of my life being with those guys. And I learned great things. Not only did I have fun, but watching how Dan Patrick interviews people who's the best in the business. Right. I learned as much in my time just on hands, and when that red light goes on, it's like, man, what am I going to do here? I'm with the best of the best. I agree, not because of me, but that was when SportsCenter was, you had to tune in to watch it because of Dan and Stuart and all no question about it. So I'm going to say, I was just fortunate to be a part of what I considered the best time ESPN's ever had.
You always had hot takes, too, and you were honest, you were a player, and I always enjoyed watching you. I wasn't
going to back off my opinion, I assure you of that.
Exactly, that's what you love to see. That's what you want to see on TV.
Thank you.
Okay, moving in 2005, got to hear this story. Who contacted you? The Longest Yard, the remake of The Longest Yard. We got Adam Sandler playing quarterback, but you got Burt Reynolds. Look, I'm a big wrestling guy. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bill Goldberg. We got Nelly. I mean, how was that? How did that come about, and how did you coach up Sandler?
Well, we just finished the Pro Bowl. ESPN got on Pro Bowl. I come back to the office because, it's a year-round NFL Live and SportsCenter. So there's a call on my voicemail at work. It says, this is so-and-so, Barry Bernardi, who's still executive producer of Happy Madison Productions. Could you call us back? We'd like to talk to you. I thought it was a buddy of mine joke. I didn't call back. About a week or so later, there's the call again. So finally, I picked it up and called back. So I call, and it says Sony Pictures, because that's where the Happy Madison group is on their lot. I said, okay, maybe this is serious. But I had no idea. And so I get on, I said, Mr. Barry Bernardi, please. And she says, who's calling? I said, it's Sean Salisbury. She goes, hang on a second, Mr. Salisbury. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so he gets on, he goes, hey, Sean, Barry Bernardi. I said, how you doing, sir? I said, what can I do for you? He goes, we're filming, I don't know if you've heard, we're doing a remake of The Longest Yard. I said, yeah, I'd heard, but I didn't know anything about it. I said, well, what can I do for you? He says, well, we would like you to train Paul Crewe. I said, Paul Crewe? I said, why me? He goes, well, Adam Sandler saw you on TV and had heard you know how to train quarterbacks, and he liked what you were about, so he wanted me to reach out. And I said, awesome. I said, well, who's playing Paul Crewe? Yeah. And he says, Adam Sandler. And I laughed, because that's the Burt Reynolds macho role, right? I laughed. I said, you know how much money it's going to take to hire me to train him? And he laughed. He goes, that won't be a problem. I said, well, now I'm really listening. Sure. So I decided, we talked for a while, and I go and I fly out there, and I walk into their production studios in California about a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And there's Spade and all those guys, and they've got cargo shorts, just like one of us. And there's like 20 people in the meeting. I told my agent, I said, I'm out of my element here. He said, you tell him what you want. He's going to tell you what you want. And we laughed and had a blast and signed the contract. And the next morning I go to his house, show up at his house. He's in his robe, and his wife in matzo ball, and he said, hang on a second, Salisbury, and come on in for breakfast. I said, no, that's okay, man, I'm good, I'll wait right here. And we went to the park and threw, and he just wanted to throw 40 yards. I said, we got to do more than that, because my name's on this, and we want to make it look real, and we did. Most of those throws were his. But that's how...
He pulled it off, and he's a good athlete. He played basketball.
We had to play, we trained for about 4 or 5 months. Every single day before we trained, we played 2-on-2 basketball. Him and I versus somebody on the lot, wherever we were, and he's a hell of an athlete, and he picked it up quick, all the gestures and throwing, mechanics. I was proud of him. So I see Marino about a year later. And on an HBO special, when they were doing that, he was sitting with Sandler about the movie on the junket. He said, Salisbury, and Danny and I are, but he goes, He couldn't drop it in the ocean if he was standing on the beach. Why didn't I train you? And I said, and that's another, I got something over Elway, and I still tell Dan, I said, you have all those yards? You didn't get to train Sandler, brother.
That's
And
right.
so I had a blast, and we had a fun time, and that crew, dude, throw up laughing every day is how good that group was.
I just can't imagine how cool
and
that
to this day, he's still a dear friend, and one that you want to talk about. If you see a guy and you say, is he really like he is? The most loyal, good person of all time. He's a guy you want to be. He's one of us, and I love him. Love him.
Unbelievable. Did you get to meet Courtney Cox?
I did at the premiere. She sat right there with her husband at the premiere, and I can remember walking off the set. I mean, walking out of the premiere, and I saw Molly Sims, and I'm walking up, and she walks by. I think she's going to walk by like, oh, you were in the movie, but it was in the movie, and she says, she gives me a peck on the lips, and I thought,
Now you've made it.
I'm done. I'm finished. This is good. So that was it. Yes, Courtney Cox was there, and the crew was fantastic, man, which led to a couple other fun movies with Sandler.
Which we're going to hop right into here real quick. So I want to ask you your favorite sports movie, not that you've been in, obviously critically acclaimed performance in The Benchwarmers.
Oh, is there-
And we're going to hop into The House
Did I
Bunny.
get snubbed, though?
I think you got completely snubbed, Salisbury, along with all the pro show fans. We all think you got snubbed. Give me your favorite sports movie.
My favorite sport, I loved North Dallas 40, which some people may not know. You do.
I do.
A great movie. I'm going to go with, because the music, Denzel Washington is the GOAT. He's the Tom Brady of acting. I'm going to go with Remember the Titans. I love the music. I love the message. I thought it was awesome in a football movie. If I was going baseball, probably, what's the one with Costner and
Bull Durham.
Yeah, Bull Durham. And I liked, and the one out there in Iowa, too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
What's that
Field
called?
of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, thank you.
Build a
Thank
Day
you.
Will Come. And it's fun. We had Vince and Selvin Young on our last pro show. Remember the
How's that for a good movie?
Remember
Yeah.
the Titans, their favorite sports
Yeah,
movie.
Oh, it is? And I didn't see it, so that's mine. But I'd prefer more baseball movies. I think they're better. But Remember the Titans, to me, had everything you want in the movie.
We got to get a good golf movie. It's time. 27 years since Tin Cup. We got to get a good golf
Was
movie
that a good
going.
movie, though?
Yeah.
Loved it.
All right, moving along here. Oh, last question real quick. You were in The House Bunny. Not everybody knows you were in The House Bunny. Shaquille O'Neal's in it. Were you around Hugh Hefner at all?
I'd been around him in the past because at SC when they'd invite you to come. I wasn't around him that day, but we were filming our spot with Leinart and out on the by the pool, and what do they call it, by the grotto, and there was like 50 of them swimming around in there. So what I say of the Playboy bunnies. So again, in over my head. I always seem to get these things where I'm in over my head and have no clue, but it was a good moment.
But it all comes out okay, Salisbury.
Brother. You ain't lying, and I'll take it. I could use Hugh Hefner's robe or his black book. But then who couldn't, right? There you go.
Yes, sir. All right, real quick to finish up. Favorite golf course? You're going to peg it one more round in your life. Where are you going to put a tee in the ground across the country?
Man, I've played, Hazeltine was one of my favorite, Medina. If I had to do it now, and I think I'm going to play this off season, Pine Valley. And I've never played at Pebble Beach, but Pine Valley, because everybody talks about it, I got to play that course. And I think I'm going to get to with a buddy of mine this off season.
That's going to be a heck of an experience.
122 is what I'll shoot.
Well, we'll get Vegas to get your over-under, Salisbury. I'll get with Vegas, and we're going to post something for you. We can all gamble.
Take the over.
All right. Dave, Houston Texans here to finish up. Houston Texans, what's your hot take? Who they're going to hire as the head coach? Is Davis Mills going to be our week 1 starter next year?
Davis Mills will be your week 1 starter. I think there's a hidden gem there if he's coached right and has the proper offense. I do. And
it's at least worth a look.
Yes, it is, and he's proven that. And they just need better players. He's only had 11 starts in college and a
Well, no running game. We had no team around him.
The guy deserves a shot and played really, really well. As far as who the coach is, I don't know what name's going to put on it because they'll shock us, I'm sure. 3 things I want. Do you maximize the room, meaning the coach, elevate everybody? Are you a dynamic leader? And do you know how to game manage on a Sunday? Absolutely. That would be nice. I'll take the first. Dynamic leader is number 1 for me.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, Super Bowl prediction. We're shooting this right before Super Sunday. Cincy and KC coming up. Who we got in that game?
Cincy and KC. I got KC winning. I love Joe Burrow, and he's going to be around doing this a long time. Cincinnati's just too much match, and they're going to give that offensive line some trouble.
All right. And then we got Niners at Rams.
I think the 49ers are physically tougher. I think they're going to go, and I think I think they emptied the bucket, the Rams. 6 in a row they've been beat by the 49ers, make it 7. 49ers win, even though Garoppolo's not the sexy pick.
They can run that football, though. Dynamite insight right there. All right, so we got Niners, Chiefs Super Bowl rematch from a couple years ago. Is Mahomes going to get it done again?
I'm going to go off the board here. I'm going to say that Jimmy doesn't go 3 of 11 in the fourth quarter. I'm going to say he makes 2 or 3 more throws in their physical running game. Not as high scoring as you think. I'm going to say the 49ers get even, and the 49ers are Super Bowl champs over Kansas City and L.A.
Can I tell you something, Salisbury? I couldn't agree with you more. Corey Lundberg, one of our good pals, big Niners fan. So we'll see what they can do. I like Shanahan. He's a heck of a coach. He's in a game plan this week. They go through the Rams and KC. They're gonna earn it, no doubt about it.
And Jimmy's also saying at the end, "Oh, you want to get rid of me for Trey Lance? How's this Super Bowl ring look for you?"
How do you like this one, right?
I love it, brother. I'm with you. What an honor to be on with you guys.
Hey,
man.
I appreciate it
You
so
guys
much.
are great.
Sean Salisbury, 790. He's got his own show. Tune in, and we'll catch you out on the links here soon.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, partner.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, special thank you to Sean Salisbury. Some amazing stories from his life. Unbelievable. That was a lot of fun. Members, we hope to see you soon around the club because I know we're all starting to vibe because golf season's right around the corner. So on behalf of the members, guests, millions, and millions of Pro Show fans, until next time, have a big time.